Hi, welcome to day 107 of my Munro challenge. Today I'm walking route number 123. Two Munros. There's Stob Coire Easain, which is the peak of the middle Coire, and Stob Coire Easain, which is the peak of the Coire of the little waterfalls. I'm parked at the same car park as we were yesterday, so let's get on with it. So we start by following this private road towards the loch. I have to say, it's occurred to me that it's rather a small dam considering the size of the loch behind it. It's a huge loch, tiny dam. So I've split off from the track and heading up here. Now you can just make out a small pillar or something over there. Now I've seen on the map that there's a hydroelectric pillar. I'm suspecting that's it, and we'll be passing that on the path. So I've been following this quad track for a bit. I'm about to cross this very boggy section following the footpath up there. Eventually I'm going to hang a left to that pillar we saw earlier. Wow, look at that. That's Stob Coire Easain. That's the Munro we were up yesterday, and it's still wrapped in cloud. Hopefully we've got better luck this side of the loch, because we're heading up here and beyond. There's a couple of tops to contend with before we get to the real summit. There it is. That's a pillar we could see earlier. Does look a bit scrambly up there. I'm sure we'll weave our way through it all. The quad tracks are heading over that way that I've been following, so I'm hanging a left here, and I can see a faint track ahead. I'm going to pick up and head over towards this top here. Wow, the top over there is clearing. That's what it looks like. So this path has weaved and wiggled its way up through the various rocks and cliffs, so it's made its way quite nicely at the minute. We're getting towards the business end now. We'll see where it takes us. So there you go. Stob Coire Easain is in the cloud, but beyond we've got Stob Coire Easain out of the cloud. So they're the two we're after today, and they were yesterday. So you can make out in the distance now Munro Jirag. Gosh, that was windy yesterday. And in the foreground we've got Stob Coire Easain. Oh, what a shame. We've just crested this next top, and I was expecting to get a view of the Munro, and it's still wrapped in cloud, I'm afraid. But the other Munros are clear on the other side, so hopefully there's a chance it'll clear yet. You know what? I think this is the top. Stob Coire Easain. Let's crack on. Very, very rocky descent. The path is actually reasonably good though, so it's picking its way through all the rocks, dropping down to the Belak. I think there's about 130 metres, maybe 150 metres descent before we climb up the other side. There we go, the cloud's just lifting. You can see the path cutting up the other side. Apparently of the two mountains, this one is more angular and more shapely. Let's hope we get to see it, shall we? So the path is quite steep, but it zigzags its way. It's a good path, and it zigzags its way through this scree. Here we are, Stob Coire Easain. Nice little shelter here. I needed that a while back. It was absolutely raining sideways. I can't say we've got a view, but it's trying you know what, I might sit here for 10 minutes and see if this sun breaks through. Let's see what happens. It's really trying to clear. Actually, it had a view. Look at this, we've got a view. The other Munro's going to peep out. There you go. It's the first Munro. We've got to go back over that. There's the lock. Awesome. So I'm just dropping down. It's typical, isn't it? Just dropping down the other side, back to the Beelac, and the clouds have cleared. Actually, it might not be clear at the top. Got a view. Yeah, I'm looking back up. It didn't really clear. I'm just about at the Beelac again, and we're going to head back over the first Munro and retrace our steps all the way back. So then, second Munro. How's about that for a view? At last. I maybe should have waited another half an hour. This Munro is still in cloud, alas. So, here we are back at the top of the first Munro. And the clouds just lifted. The other Munro is in cloud now. Typical. One of those days. There we go. The sky has cleared. As usual, I'm off the top now. To be fair, it's still cloudy above, behind. And this is the path skirting the various tops that we're going to take, as you can see, before we get to the steep bit at the end and the boggy bit. In and out of cloud everywhere. Yesterday's two Munros have just come into view. You can see them quite clearly now. The grey corries are all in cloud now, and they were visible earlier. Tops were on earlier, back in cloud. I have to say, it's lovely being able to see. So that's the next top. That was a really steep looking one from the other side, where the path zigzagged through all the rocks and crags. So this is that side of it. It's nice and grassy up here, isn't it? So we're going to head over that, and then it's going to be fun and games for a bit. Wow, difficult to make out, but just above that little cairn in the background way down there is the pillar that we saw earlier today, the hydro pillar on the hilltop. So we're going to drop down towards that, down to the track, round to the tiny dam, and to the cars. I can see the cars from here. So back at the pillar, just drop down now, down that really boggy track, and I'll pick up the lockside track then. Almost back, nearly at the dam. Hi, welcome to day 107 of my Munro challenge. Today I walked route number 123. It's Monday the 27th of June and I parked at Furset. Two Munros today, Stob Coire Easain and Stob Coire Easain. Lovely day. It's an out and back, so you kind of retrace your steps. You start by following Loch Treg on a nice track out the side of the loch. Eventually the track has got a couple of options turning right together. You take the second one, which climbs quite quickly, then becomes very muddy, becomes a quad track, and then a footpath, very boggy. It weaves its way around to the pillar that you can see on the horizon, and then then it just kind of becomes more and more boggy. Now the buttress in front of you is kind of overwhelming really, and it has been since you set off, and you kind of wonder how on earth you're going to get through it. but the path actually weaves its way up quite nicely, despite it being as boggy as it is and steep as it is. So once you get to the top of the buttress, you've got some long grassy climbs, not overly steep, and a couple of tops to contend with. Now all the time you should be getting views of Loch Treg, and indeed the two Munros we did yesterday, Stob Coire Easain and Munro Gerag. And you are in and out of views. On a good day it'd be fabulous all day. So once you get to the top of the first Munro, Stob Coire Easain, you're faced with a very steep short drop to the Bielach, probably 130 metres or so, and then you're faced with an equally steep climb up the other side to Stob Coire Easain. That's slightly higher, so maybe 150 metres of ascent. I was in cloud, as you can see, and I did wait, I had a sandwich, and all of a sudden the clouds cleared very briefly, and the views were pretty special. But as quickly as the clouds dispersed, they reappeared. So, and from there on in, it's pretty much retracing your steps. Very nice walk when you can get the views. You can see across to the grey corries as well when they're not in cloud. The day was 11.5 miles. It took me 7 hours, and there's 3,925 feet of ascent.